All right, welcome back to another episode of Give Black, Give Back, Changemakers series, where we speak with local and national trendsetters, trailblazers, and only makes sense that we talk to two of my favorite people, aside from my own little person, Courtney Hale and Ever Gray Hale. Welcome to this series that we're doing. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So, Miss Ever, the first question I got a question for you, Miss Ever. Ever, what's the latest TikTok dance? So what are we doing on TikTok these days?
Well, literally, it's the same thing. And my grandmother, just every time she sees me doing TikToks, she would say, "You do the same ones every single day. Do different ones." And I'm like, these are the only ones I know. I don't know a lot of TikToks, so I usually do the same ones. And there's one that she hasn't really heard a lot, and that's actually one of my favorite dances.
Okay. Well, you have to show us their favorite one, because I would love to learn one so I can do it with Teddy.
I have a lot of favorites, but my first favorite one is called why can't I?
Sometimes she don't know the names of the songs, but when she hears the song, she immediately knows the dance.
Yes. And I know it.
It's called song. It's called Savage Love. Yeah.
Savage Love. Okay.
Well, I have to look that one up. So, Courtney, you are the chief hope dealer of Knowledge Bank, and you've been doing financial literacy for young people and their parents for quite some time now. Talk a little bit about the work you do with Knowledge Bank.
Yeah, so our mission is all about making financial education more accessible and creating a more natural fit in the education spaces for our young people. What we do is we design experiences that are fun, relatable, and also educational. We realize that financial literacy is a major, it's a missing component to how we're raising and developing young people. And we believe that we're filling that gap.
Yeah, absolutely. Lisa, I know that with your fund, you work a lot around financial literacy. So I'll let you follow up with some questions for Courtney.
So just really kind of one of the things, how do you think that chief hope dealer, I've always liked that title and that sort of that CEO. So people put CEO, you put chief hope dealer, which I think from that standpoint, I'm just kind of interested. What do you think is the relationship between financial literacy and hope?
Yeah, there's a huge connection. We live in the so-called land of opportunity. But if you actually look at like data, when you live in a place to where you're economically disadvantaged, you're less likely to participate in the key aspects of this land of opportunity, right? So you're less likely to vote. You're less likely to pursue a collegiate degree. You're less likely to exercise and be civically engaged. And so like these are all of like the key aspects of the land of opportunity. And so with the work that we do, we say, hey, this isn't about just creating a budget or having a high credit score. We want you to see the opportunity that exists in the place where we live. And we start with financial education as a place to create clarity. Because when you can introduce these themes and ideas and the possibilities, and then you're shown a pathway for how to get there, you're like, I don't just have to settle for what I have, or I don't just have to continue to do what I see in my community or at home. One of the most memorable moments since we've been doing this work, several years ago, we called it our Young Money Matters Summit. There's like a half day of financial education for high schoolers across Nashville. And at the end of this whole experience, a kid raised his hand and he was like, I get what y'all are trying to do. He said, before I came here today, I felt like because of what my mom did for a living and because we were poor, I felt like that was all I was destined. Baby, you can't, yeah. He was like, I felt like that was all that I was destined to do. But he was like, but now I see I can be so much more than that. I can do whatever I want. And it was like in just those couple minutes, it was like, yeah, like that's why we exist. We want young people to know that they have unlimited potential and that they're a resource.
Ever, I see something behind you that I have in my house too. It looks like a bank. Can you tell us about the Super Money Kids Bank? Because I know that really has, that connects all of this together around financial literacy and hope. And I want to make sure that young people know that it's, you mentioned high schoolers, but really this is also for young people too. So maybe Dad, you can start and then Ever can pick up.
Yep. So our cornerstone program now is the Super Money Kids program, which is a digital program. It's a virtual program targeted at kids really from about elementary school through middle school. And the program is centered on 3 money habits, which are, what are the 3 money habits? Tell them what the 3 money habits are.
Save, spend, share.
So save, spend, and share. And so we introduce them to the world of personal finance through those 3 money habits. We also introduce them to entrepreneurship and setting goals. And then the Super Money Kid Bank that's behind Ever is used as an instructional tool. And so the bank is used throughout the program. And so our primary focus is getting Super Money Kids in as many schools across the country as possible.
Yeah, very good. One of my favorite parts that we're still working on in our house with my little one is sharing. But that's the core premise of philanthropy, whether it is through time, talent, treasure, or testimony. And so, of course, the Super Money Kids Bank gives us an opportunity to share our treasures with other people. But talk a little bit about why philanthropy is important to you and your family and why you decided to instill that in your daughter.
We come from a very, very just tight and loving community of family and friends. And, even before Tia and I were married, we always knew that whatever we achieved in life was going to be the work and prayers and support of other people in our communities. There's nothing that we achieve on our own. It doesn't matter how talented or smart you are. There's nothing that you do on your own. And we also feel like, from even a financial perspective, like it's a flow of energy. And so the idea of as you give, like that circle or that energy of generosity, it flows back to you. And that's just the way we live. It's no fun. The saying is no fun if my homies can't have none, right? Yeah. It's the same idea with money. Like, we don't want to just be wealthy and we be sitting there by ourselves, right? So we want to be able to inspire and educate other people and share the things that we've learned. It's, being communal is really important to us, and creating, generational success is important. And how you do that is through education and through sharing.
I think what's really interesting is that you're sort of setting yourself up to be sort of a financial mentor, right? For a lot of kids and parents who have never really had that, to your point. But who were your financial mentors and why were they so impactful to you?
That is a really, really interesting question. I've had many, like my first financial mentor, my first two rather, be my mom and my grandfather. I lived with my grandfather up until maybe like the 5th grade. My granddad, he only had like a 6th grade education, 8th grade education. He always worked like these really, really manual jobs. He definitely wouldn't fit the profile of who you would say would be a financial expert. But he had these amazing like tidbits of wisdom. But he would say things like, don't ever spend all your money. He's like, I don't care if you just save $5 every time you get paid. Don't ever spend. And my granddad, like, he was hard, again, like this man he dropped out of school in like 7th grade. He learned through the streets. And so he didn't say these things in a very, gentle way. Another lesson, as I got older, I was dating Tia pretty seriously. He'd say, hey, now, y'all get married. Y'all should live off just one income. And then the other income, y'all should just save. And it's like the craziest thing to me. I was like, you know, why would we do that? And to be honest, very rarely did people in our family listen to him, unfortunately. But kind of as I became an adult, and especially as, you know, I started working in financial services and Knowledge Bank started to become a thing, I'm like, yo, this whole time I had this amazing financial expert that was accessible to me all the time. And so I appreciate him like so much more now. My grandfather is now deceased. So he was my first one. My mom was my second one. I tell these stories about my mom being an amazing creative, and you know, the things that she's able to do with the sewing machine and fabric just have always just blown my mind. You know, but my mom was never able to like leverage her creative talents to make a living, and it was because she didn't have the training or education about entrepreneurship or about financial literacy.
And Nana knows how to sew. Nana sews sometimes a lot of things for Kylie and I's baby doll.
So like ever saying that, you know, Nana even sews things for their baby dolls. So like all of these talents, and that, you know, she just never was able to just really focus on and make a living. And so, you know, my mom poured so much into me and invested so much, you know, into me. She didn't want me to have the challenges that she did. And so she was also like a financial mentor for myself, in that, you know, number one, you want to be able to leverage your creativity and your skills and your talents, but figure out how to make it sustainable. You know, because she wasn't able to. And so she would be my second one. You know, since my mom and my grandmama, I've had several other mentors that I just really look up to. Alfonso Alexander, Turner Nash are just two businessmen that have done really, really just phenomenally for themselves. I met Alfonso when I was 15, and I was in Inroads, and at the time he was the executive director. And you know, we're 23 years later, and you know, we still talk and meet up for lunch and talk about business and a lot of different things. And so those are a couple people. And I have friends who I consider to be mentors as well, who run their own businesses and have done things, and we can kind of lean on one another and learn from one another at the same time. So it's really important for me, it's really important to have like a network of people who you can teach and learn from, because sometimes if you hadn't seen it yourself, it's hard to really know, like, what to do. And so kind of like having that network is really, really helpful.
Awesome.
So Ever, I have a question for you. So we had you on maybe a month ago, and you were talking about Nia House Montessori, where you attend, and you were raising lots of big money for them. Why do you think it's important for you to be a philanthropist, a young philanthropist, and sharing for the world? Why do you think that's important?
Well, for us to share, we need to share with people that are homeless or people in need. And I also remember when we were at school, it was the last week of school we had. Every single day we'll have like a tradition, and I remember we had field day, and also we've took these bags. One of our teachers bought these bags, and all of these snacks and food and drinks and toothbrushes and toothpaste and deodorant and sunscreen.
And who'd y'all give them to?
We gave them to homeless people. So there's another business, I forgot what it was called, but they give stuff to homeless people. So one of the people came to pick up the bags to go give them to the homeless people. And that business, they also would have dinner with the homeless people or bring them food. And I can't believe that. And it was so fun when we made those bags. It was so fun.
How'd it make you feel?
It made me feel amazing.
It made you feel amazing. Well, that's exactly what we want to be teaching young people. So, Courtney, talk a little bit about how you want to extend the legacy of philanthropy with your family. So talk about the fund that you have, but also anything else you want to talk about relative to Knowledge Bank.
Obviously for us, part of financial literacy, one of the money habits that we have is sharing. And sharing is the mini philanthropy version for kids. And so you can't, for me, it's irresponsible to teach wealth building and entrepreneurship without also teaching generosity and to care, because money isn't the most important thing. People are the most important thing. And when we're financially responsible, we can help others and we can create a better world and a better society. We've seen the consequences of people and businesses who are money first. That doesn't work out. That there are always dire consequences of that. Obviously we have the our relationship with the community foundation, with Knowledge Bank allows us to make financial education more accessible. There's never been a person that I've ran into who's been like, you know what, the financial literacy thing is not really important for our kids. I think we can all relate to that. We can all see the value in that for our young people. And that fund allows us to inspire the next generation of creators, dreamers, and innovators. We obviously have opened or created another fund to honor the legacy of my wife, Ever's mom, Tia, through the Tia Barbara Hale OGOT Legacy Fund. Tia was an occupational therapist, and she cared a lot about providing support and training for students with exceptional needs, special and exceptional. And so we want to continue her legacy and to be able to do that for other young people, even though she's only here in spirit. And so, just being able to continue to support our community is just really important for our family, as well as for our organization as well.
You are a wealth of information. So I am so proud, to have the opportunity to sort of just get you and Miss Ever a little bit of time. So we want to give you guys some time about what's going on at Knowledge Bank and how can we support you. The fund is available through blackgivingback.com. And so people who want to participate in either of the funds that we've discussed today are there as well to help continue to support you move that mission forward. What are some things that you're working on that we can hopefully get people to give some additional dollars? So time, talent, and treasures and testimony, but we're focused on treasures as well. So just tell us what you're doing so people can reach out.
So two big goals, and then we'll make one announcement. We want to make Super Money Kids available in every elementary and middle school throughout Middle Tennessee. That's like our big goal right now. And we're making progress, but we want to be able to offer this program to all elementary and middle school students throughout Middle Tennessee. And so we absolutely welcome financial support in being able to do that, one. And then the second piece is we want to connect with corporations who have an education or economic empowerment focus to their community engagement initiatives. We know a lot of corporations have, various philanthropic and community engagement things that they do in the city, but those focuses are different, from corporation to corporation. And so if there's a corporation out there who has an emphasis on education or economic empowerment, we know that Super Money Kids aligns with that, and we'd like to have a conversation. And so we welcome introductions to people who oversee those programs to see how they may be able to support Super Money Kids in Middle Tennessee. And then an announcement, and this is the first time nobody knows this yet. Nobody knows it yet. So
family knows.
Just family. So this is like
we're family now. Are we not family now?
Yes,
right.
Yes, we are family now. And so this is the first public announcement that we've made about this, and we're really, really, really excited. Do you want to tell them?
Me and my dad, what do I keep saying I?
She's like building the anticipation.
Me and my dad got to be on the Ellen show. I am excited.
Woo! Congratulations. That's amazing.
How exciting.
And the interview airs this Friday.
And we're having a watch party.
It airs this Friday at 3:00. And so we really want people to watch the interview, and we talk more about Super Money Kids. We talk about how we started and how much we love Tia and the role that she played in us starting the organization, the role that Ever has played, and Ever talks a little bit about her career ambitions. And so, yeah, we just would love for people to watch that interview Friday, 3:00 Central Standard Time.
Courtney, why don't you share what you want the legacy of your work to be, and the legacy you want to carry of Tia's? Share that with us.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that I'm gonna talk about those separately.
Okay.
So for me, I really want to inspire the pursuit of freedom and joy through entrepreneurship and service. I love my daughter so much. Okay, she is so special. Okay, go ahead and go get your things, and then I'm gonna finish up. Okay.
Thank you, Ever.
Hi, Ever. Thank you for coming on.
She's already a celebrity. She's already got appointments.
That's what to do.
I love it.
But yeah, so like, I want my legacy to be about pursuing like freedom and happiness, so that people can just be the best of themselves. It's not all about money. For me, it's like about love. And I just realized just how just certain struggles can keep us from seeing what's most important. In terms of Tia and I together, I think that there's some overlap in that, Tia and I were always kind of just focused on creating, a better life for our daughter than we had. We were dreamers together. It was like, what are we gonna do? Like, what can we create? How can we do this thing different? I think in a lot of ways, we were, I don't know if pioneering is the right word, but there were a lot of things that we did at a really, really early age that I realize now were special. And just at the time, we were just doing what we wanted to do, right? Because it just felt like it was important to us. And there are some things that we had to deal with early on that, I don't want other people to have to deal with early on, but we were just forced to grow up really, really fast. But in terms of our legacy, I think our legacy is, we want people to not waste time. Don't waste time, because you don't know like how long you're gonna have, somebody. You don't know. And even if it's not about having somebody, you don't know how long you're gonna be here. And so whatever dreams you have or whatever ideas you have, like, go ahead and like start working on it, like this afternoon or whenever you're watching it. Like, start work. I give it to tomorrow. Like, go ahead and start working on it tomorrow, because don't take your time for granted. And we want our legacy to be about just dreaming big and having hope and being positive, and to love, just like love. That was just something that, Tia had a big heart. And she was a very thoughtful and generous and kind person. That's the legacy that I would want us to be remembered for.
I'll ask one last question, and then Lisa, if you want to close us out, how do we find you? How do we find out more? Of course, people can go to blackgivingback.com to learn more, but we also want, if someone hears your appeal, your 2 requests, we want them to reach out to you directly. So how can people find more information about you?
Yeah, you can find us online at supermoneykids.co. The second best place to find us is on Instagram at supermoneykidsco, supermoneykidsco. Those are the best places. If you want to email me, you can email me at chale@knowledgebank.money. Chale, CHALE @knowledgebank.money.
This has been Give Black, Give Back, the Changemakers series, and we've had the opportunity to just really honor the collective individual Blacks who have done foundations, who have businesses that support the community through their time, talent, treasures, and also their testimony. We are celebrating these conversations and wanting you to make sure that you subscribe to the Community Foundation Middle Tennessee's page and stay in touch with us. We have another series. We're constantly putting up series from that standpoint. This is a special series. Also, if you're interested in giving any money, time, talent, treasures, or testimony, we have places on the blackgivingback.com to be able to do that. We want to thank the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee for allowing us to take over their page and share these stories with you. For Kia Jarman and myself, we want to thank Courtney and Miss Ever for joining us today. Continue to support this initiative, continue to support this organization and worthy cause. And we hope you tune in next time to check out the Changemakers series for Give Black, Give Back.